VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question, and that is, what is going to happen next with Zhilei Zhang and Joyce after their second fight and Zhang's win? I know this may sound very similar to the question I asked after the fight, but it looks like both men are in the same situation. They both are in their late 30s or 40s, and they're not going to get a meaningful fight with anyone, unfortunately, for different reasons. And I think this exemplifies all that's wrong with boxing. Let me explain. Joyce has been written off by at least his promoter, if not that, a lot of the boxing world, outside of his fans, who are now saying it was a mistake for him to fight Zhang, not only the second time, which you had some credence because he had already lost, but the first time that he had ruined his mandatory. And I think this is the problem with boxing, because so many fighters are so quick to protect that, and protect themselves from losses, and that's why we don't get the fights that we want. Yet I hear people who are fans of Joyce, and I understand it to some extent, saying, and maybe rightfully so when you talk about how the game is played, that he should have never fought Zhang in the first place. He was already the mandatory. He should have fought cupcakes until he had a chance to fight Usyk. And now Zhang is in that situation. Who knows when he'll get the chance to fight Usyk? Hopefully next year, but Usyk's only fighting once a year. And he is going through his mandatories, but we have a bunch of other fighters who I would like to see either of them fight, and they're not going to fight him. I know there has been some talk about Anthony Joshua potentially fighting Zhang, and I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I know no one's going to fight the Gypsy Queen because he's busy, doing whatever the hell it is he's doing. And I know no one's going to fight Wilder because he's in the witness protection program. A lot of people thought before Joyce fought Zhang that he could compete with Fury, he can compete with Wilder, he can compete with the top guys. You want to know something? He still can. I would still love to see him fight Wilder. I would still love to see him fight Joshua. I would still love to see him fight Usyk if he had a chance to. But now he's lost his spot. He doesn't have the spot anymore, and he's lost his cachet, and he's lost his chin, and he's completely written off by a fan base. And Zhang, the guy who won, well, now he's too scary. Nobody wants to fight him and upset their situation. Wilder doesn't want to upset the potential Joshua fight, so he's not going to fight anybody tough. Andy Ruiz doesn't want to upset a potential payday, so he's not going to fight anybody tough. The Gypsy Queen is the Gypsy Queen, so he's not going to fight anybody tough. Joshua's still rebuilding. He's not going to fight anybody tough. You see what I mean? Nobody is going to take a fight with either man for different reasons, and it's a mess. And this is the problem with boxing as a whole. Say what you will about Dana White. Hell, he's part of the reason we're getting this Ngannou Fury fight, because if he paid his fighters, Ngannou wouldn't even be here to fight Fury. But he does make fights. He gets the fights done. He may not pay his fighters well, but he gets the fights that we want done. Boxing has no oversight. It has no committee that puts things together. The sanctioning bodies are supposed to be that, but they don't do that. They do it at a convenient pace. They strip who they want to strip. They don't strip who they don't want to strip. And it's a complete mess. Now you have two really good fighters, in my opinion, who both put it out on their line. Joyce is not going to get any credit for taking a risk and taking a chance and giving the fans a really good fight. And Zhang, even if he is going to get a lot of credit, is not going to be able to get the fights we would want to see him in. This is a mess, and I wish there was an answer. I wish there was some way to correct it, but there's not. So these guys, even though they had a good fight, even though Zhang won, he's really in the same space he was before these fights. Just a really tough fighter that people don't want to see fight. And I don't mean that people don't want to see him fight as far as the fans. I mean the fighters themselves. No one's going to take the fight with Zhang because they don't want to risk their chances at something in the future. And that's just the way boxing is. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.